Okay, this is take 3. Apparently I know the site that's knocking me out. I've been knocked out twice, so I'm gonna avoid. So this is where the current from the sky was a sky near Earth object data that knocked me out twice because I was. By the way, this is the speed right now, current, and this is the relative to the sun, and this is towards Earth, and this is, it keeps plotting every 6 hours. Man, oh man, did they knock me out, and they knocked me out twice. So let me backtrack a little bit. Yeah, this is the site that knocked me out. This right here, because it shows a map. I gotta tiptoe around this somehow, but I'm slowly putting this information together where I left off by the asteroid belt. Okay, this is where I left off yesterday, and this data has been now this is not moving, so it has to go to the asteroid belt, and that other site where I have the near Earth objects, and there's a ton that has the second obstacle, and it's going right by Mars. There's more information that I'm gonna provide. This is complicated. This is not gonna make sense to 99.99% of the people, but if you bear with me, just bear with me. Remember, new asteroids has been discovered with that new telescope that went online on the first date. It discovered 4,000 asteroids. Matter of fact, let's go back and check that out. Okay, this video right here, highly recommended. Check it out.
Us astronomers and astrophysicists have been waiting. Images from the RUBIN observatory in Chile were released.
Okay, let me put it right here.
Which brings me to part 3, which I've lovingly dubbed, wow, that's a lot of asteroids. Okay, so if you want to see this for yourself, go to the RUBIN Skyviewer app that I was talking about before that I'll link down.
Okay, this, those eyes remind me what this video here, I guess when they saw, after that, they were like, this is their reaction afterwards.
Those 8 images, that's about 1.4 times the field of view of RUBIN that was taken over just 7 nights. Of those just under 4,000, 1,800 of them were already known asteroids in the solar system, but 2,104 of them were new asteroids that had never been spotted in the solar system. Most of them in the asteroid belt, but also 7 near-Earth objects, 11 Jupiter Trojan asteroids that trail Jupiter in its orbit.
Only a little window. Only 7 were discovered near Earth. Over 4,000 total detection. So imagine, try to wrap your mind about that. And like again, I said, a little humor. Now after all that, after she, I bet you that was the reaction. Okay, so let's get into this. So I wish I could show you that near Earth map 3D in the sky. Maybe my computer can't handle the data. Who knows? But let's look around. Let's scan around and look at. Let's go to JPL, and this is the new solution dates they put out. And one of the new subscribers commented on there's no code, and he's right, but they're still gathering information, and already it's up to, look at these, study these numbers. I have to talk like the Riddler. Okay, it's up to 328 observation, and it started on, from the other one, it was July 2nd, was 111. Now from the first video that I made, I was able to collect, okay, this was on the second solution date, and this was a total observation, and we'll keep our eye on this right here. That's Moab. Also, there's been changes on this right here. There's been changes on this, and there's been changes on this, and we have more eyes looking at this object. Now we go to the current. It's jumped to 328 in less than 4 days, and again, no code. Normally they give code from 0 to 7 to 9, and the higher the code, the more peligroso, dangerous, closer it gets to us. But just keep an eye on this right here, that number right there. Also Jupiter too. Okay, that's Earth Moab minimum orbit intersection distance. That's the possible, since they don't have this thing tagged 0 in yet, that it might get to Earth. The possible. We're gonna look at those numbers closely. Just Earth. You just focus on Earth. So I started putting together the data right here. This is the new data. The possible closest it might get to Earth if this happens. This is the model. It was 33. The new one is 33,829,000 blah blah. The one from the second was 34 million miles 039, which is a difference of a reduction of 210 miles. It might not seem like a lot, but it went from 34 to 33. At its closest approach, Mars is roughly 33.9 million miles from Earth. So if this new data, if it's within the orbit of Mars, if it gets close, if unknown factors occur, Mars at its closest point is, like I said, 33.9, and at magnitude we're looking at a minus 2.7 at its nearest. Just to give you a comparison, I have more maps, more charts that goes into the plus category, but I can't find it. I have so many other comets that I have the information. I would have to go spend hours and hours just going through it. The recent observation, we have it as of today, 17.0. Now this is COBS right here that provides the data. Now I'm skipping, I'm rambling, I'm going fast. The newest on the 7th of the speed is at 71.7 kilometers per second. Earth distance. Remember on which video was it? I think it was the second one. Earth moving away. Wow. Okay, I got interfered again. So the old data was, the speed was calculated right here, 72.8 kilometers per second. The new one is 71.7, so it slowed down a little bit. Now imagine, I'll put a link to her video, and this is a history of the remnant of the destroyed planet video. So little by little I recover this. You could pause it and look, and we have that has, okay, they updated, so it is confirmed 17.1 magnitude. Remember, it started at an 18.8, somewhere in there, just a couple days ago, really. And perihelion is on the, it's on the, okay, so these numbers are changed. All this is new data. Damn it, I wish I would have recorded this, because it was saying the brightest it get was probably maybe 15, which is way out there. Makes it more difficult for the astronomers to look at anything under 17 magnitude. It makes it a little easier than compare versus an 18.8. And the closest to Earth now is 13.1. Since I didn't cover this, and there's the path, and we'll see if it's still the same. There it is right there. Let's zoom. So it's entering the asteroid belt. Now it has to maneuver through all those asteroids and Mars and the near Earth objects. It's a whole many, which is clustered, and then it gets over here by Jupiter. But before it gets to Jupiter, we have another comet. Let's go back to the sky. 71.7. Look at the data. Click on this, and let's see. That's the current location. Now these are stars and galaxies, and they're in the trillions. The galaxies are in the trillions, and the number keeps climbing. There's approximately 500 billion stars, and there's now with this new telescope, who knows how many they're going to discover more. 500 billion stars, the Milky Way, and how many planets and moons in each star. Just give you how little we are. Okay, these are numbers. So okay, so the magnitude today is at 17, so it jumped, and I'm glad I'm recording this now. I wish I would have recorded it in the beginning, but there is still data that shows it was originally reported, the space weather. So it's gone up. So now it's in the ballpark. Think of the ballpark. It's in the parking lot in the stadium. For the astronomer, now it's in the stadium. It's in the parking lot. It's now is in the parking lot. Now, once it goes into the 16 and 15s and 14s and 13, it's more. So what you have getting more and more images, able to get images now from the astronomer. Remember, the MPC is put out a call for assistance, and already. Okay, so here it is, the 3D map. They have it right there. So there it is right there. There's Jupiter right here. So it's entering the asteroid belt. And remember, the other planet that was destroyed with all the remnants is, remember, the ecliptic probably was right there. So it's getting real close. Normally comets come from this direction to avoid it, or from above, but this is going to be riding into the minefield. And with Mars being the first, the asteroid, but it's got to pass the survive the asteroid belt, and then Mars. And then we had two comets that had interaction with Mars, Ison and Sliding Spring, I think it is. Another comet that had electrical interaction with Mars as it passed close by. We don't know the distance, how close. And I have that data with the Mars, with Ison and Spring, how many miles they were away. I have that. I cover that. But when it gets over in this, and then after, if it survives that, and then right about here, we have, and then that also with the Virgo, the signs with Virgo. This is just basically data gathering for safekeeping, because in the future, the near future, some will come back to this as this thing becomes more and more on the interest occurs. They're going to go back and search for data, and this is the data that they're going to refer to as. And other people will use this and say, pretend they invented it, or again, I've been doing this so long. People know me. When it comes to comets, people know me. So here's a new observation, recent observation, 17 on the 5th, and these are big boys. These are I know these people. I mean, I know of them, and they're professionals, all of them. Spain, all over the place. Probably Chile, La Palma, Hawaii. So it's the magnitude is going down quick. And here's the site. Now, I know it's not pronounced this. I call it Groot. Basically giving out this information that on December 16 at about 1.9 AU be the closest to Earth. And I did have the magnitude here somewhere. And I'm having a lot of interference. And let's stop. The original was, this is the relative speed to the sun at 61 kilometers.
Do not approach Earth. The transmissions.
So Groot is still 3 hours ago. This is that was on Sunday, saying it's currently at magnitude 18.8. Too faint for the naked eye or backyard telescope. The data is wrong. It's 17. So it jumped over a magnitude in the last couple of days. And this data at about 269 million miles on December 19, the closest approach, is wrong also. So this information is outdated so fast. It's just so fast. It's outdated. It's wrong. Okay, let's see this one right here 9 hours ago. Based on current orbital data, blah, blah, blah. Its closest approach to Mars is October 3rd at about 28 million kilometers. Safety distance. That's approximately 89 days away. It poses no threat to Mars or Earth. This is documented. 28 million kilometers. 28 million kilometers is approximately 17 million miles, 17.3 million miles. We're going to keep that on record because I have other comets, like I said, Ison and Spring, and I'll find out how close those two got when they had their electrical interchange. Like I said, in our Milky Way, it's estimating to contain 100 to 400 billion stars. And there's how many galaxies in the universe? Estimate between 100 to 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Now with that new telescope, those numbers are gonna definitely highly increase. This data is from the Hubble, not the Webb. The Hubble data only. Yeah, putting this together. All these comets have a lot of database. Like for example, just take random, just to give you an idea. Let's go to Ison. I have much more than this. This is back in 2013. Just to give you an idea. And this is Comet Ellen when it had all these three right here. And we had the earthquake. Just to give you an idea. And there's a list of the magnitude. And Ison got to minus 13, minus 14. The estimates, all this stuff still survived. And Theseus, I'm probably going to refer to this in the future maybe. So that just gives you an idea. I mean, pages and pages. And let's see what else. And this prophecy right here, which is right here in the Bible, finding the warnings in the scriptures, the sixth seal. And this is the comet that we need to keep our eye on, and it's not letting me see it. So I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it right there. So much. This is just data gathering. Apparently, I'm going to get cut off. So I'm just going to stop right here and save this information because I'm not going to be going back and forth doing this. So this is the comet I'm talking about that we need to keep an eye on. And it's pretty bright, so it could be observed by the amateurs. And the closest approach, nearest approach to Earth is on this date right here. But today, it's showing a magnitude, so this number will change once attention's put on it. And this gives an orbit of it. There's more information on this right here. Now we had linear and atlas together. That's the current position right now. Jump it to August, jump it to September, jump it to October, November, December. Now it gets interesting. Remember, the course correction. Since the data keeps changing, there was an 18.8 in the beginning, now it's a 17, and it's brightening quick. And they were estimating it might, if you look at spaceweather, it might get to a 15. So let's fast forward this right here. Remember, this is subject. The path is subject to change. And what we see already, it's changed a little bit. So on January 5th, 2026. That's where it's at. Now let's keep it close. Let's go to the 6th. Let's go to the 7th. Now there it is. These two objects are going to be side by side. And I need to get the elliptic orbit data on 2017. But definitely with the magnitude increasing on these two, this is I'm zooming in as close as I can, real close, but I can't zoom too close because then we won't see it. So so we have these two comets. Basically, if this diverts a little bit, or this one's erratic, diverts a little bit, that's where the two, and we don't know how bright or what this object. So that's the information. So on January 7th, let's take it to 8th. January 8th is more closer, just above each other. So you got two comets side by side, and we don't know the makeup of 217, and we definitely don't know the makeup of 20, 25, and 1. And this is zoomed out. So we don't know the distance, but they're really very close to each other. And we know comets have interaction, electrical interaction, when it gets close to a planet like Mars, for example. So who knows what these two might. Just take it to the 9th. Okay, the 9th is closer. They're basically second floor, third floor to each other. And since this one keeps changing data, we don't know. And if it's intelligently controlled, it'll avoid it. But I just thought I'd put this out there. It could be the prophecy. Who knows? So it has to go to the astro belt first. Let's take it to the 10th. Okay, now it's moving away. So the date to right there, the 8th. Now let's take it to 7th. The 7th and the 8th. If it maintains its current speed, that's something to keep an eye on, guys. I know it's way out there in the future, but this is data. They're probably going to go back in time and say, hey, this crazy old man got it right again. And other people will say, well, they discovered it. They'll take the credit like they always do. And that's sad, but that's the way it is. So we're living in a world of hustle. And it reminds me, ending in this. I will end in this. This comes from the movie Star Trek. The Voyage, the Voyage Home. Remember this scene? the galactic center. I put a link down to the video right here. Can't play too much, you know why? See?
What do you make of it? It appears to be a probe, Captain. From an intelligence unknown to us.
And it basically went to Earth to see if the whales were still the seed they planted with the water. Cool video. Now this probe, now I like I said, I do human, and I deal with fathers' rights, and I feel a strong connection with Genesis, the book of Genesis, the Ethiopian, where it had the word has nothing's been changed in Enoch, and the importance of God and family, the creation, Adam and Eve. Maybe thinking out of the box, just being humorous. This probe is coming. Are any men left? Is anybody not divorced? To see if there's a system that's crucifying the men. You know, I'm the only man in the planet that had 3 appearances with the legal court system, unable, because the computer was tampered with, unable to see the judge face to face, and transmission being cut in and out. And I got a unjust. And here's a guy that's a hero. Here's a guy that's the original minority Puerto Rican father's rights back in the 80s, 90s. You know, that documented, that done so much. You know, these young bucks, what happened to the old timers? How come they didn't stop this? Because we were like the 300 Spartans. We were destroyed. And this ties in with the Hopi prophecy, the Red Kachina. I recommend you all see that video too. So they were not able to stop it. They had to go back in time.
The probe is vaporizing our ocean.
So there it is. This is a fantastic video. Y'all check it out. My opinion only. If this thing disturbs you, check out Howdy Doody. I'll put a link down to this video. Give it credit. Fantastic. We don't know. This is just data gathering for future reference. Until next time, from an 18.8 to a 17. So now it's in the ballpark magnitude. That father